and welcome to yet another episode of Sustainability Simplified. I'm your host, Zitin, and today we'll be getting into conversation with Malini and Kunal, who are the co founders of Tenacious Bee Collective. And what do? I think the name explains it all, but we'll find out through the course of this episode. Welcome, Kunal, and welcome, Malini. It's wonderful to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Hi Zitin, it's so good to be on your show. We are both doing well and
Hi.
excited to be chatting today with you.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. So, shall we dive in? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So great. So, could you begin by sharing a little bit about Tenacious Bee Collective? How did the idea come about? Also, in our conversations, you have mentioned that TBC, as I like to call it, is more than just raw, pure honey. Could you tell our viewers and listeners more about the product range that is offered, by the brand?
Sure. So, Tenacious Bee is a movement to kind of revive bee populations in the mountains, and our work is about celebrating the various things bees make in their hive. I know honey is the product that everybody recognizes most easily about bees, but honey is only one of many, many amazing things bees make, and everything is really therapeutic for humans. Where we mess up is when we exploit bees and when we try to harvest too much of any one thing. So,
Yeah.
our project is about creating a range of products and services that all hinge on ethically harvesting small quantities of products from the hive and then upscaling them within the village community and then bringing them to urban audiences. And then also providing services around beekeeping. So some products we have for you to show you today are we have these beeswax candles that are tea lights, and they're scented, or just even beeswax has a lovely scent fragrance of the hive itself. So we have those. Then can you show me the honey jam? So these are the tea light candles. And we have
Nice.
raw honey that
Of
we
course.
have in different varieties.
So we
We
harvest from different areas, so you can see the color
Yeah.
difference in both of them. So
Right.
this depends on the flowers bees are foraging the honey from.
Yeah.
and then we make lip balms. We have a little workshop in Kangra where we work with tribal ladies, and we've trained them in making beeswax products, and they've been making for us lip balms and
Yeah, we have a guest as well. For all those who are listening on the audio version, we have some puppies in the background as well who are very nicely hopping around the room. So it's
yes,
nice to hear from them.
yes.
Yeah.
So they pour these candles for us. They make beeswax soaps. They make beeswax salves, and we're now in the process of training them to make a few more skincare products so we can increase our range of offerings for customers.
So the idea is to uh, not depend on honey for the sole income for a beekeeper or their allied communities. So take the
Right.
pressure of harvesting honey to other things. Work with
Right.
bees, work with beeswax, work with. There are a lot of things that bees make actually, and this is something that we made as a gift box.
This is a little honey sampler that has 4 small jars of honey, um, and yeah, it's just like 4 small jars of honey.
I think this is your most popular one you were saying, right? Like,
This is our most popular product because a lot of people don't know that honey comes in all these different varieties. They all think it's flavored, but honey changes its characteristics based on what nectar bees forage from. So
yeah.
that's why we like to have like, that's why the sampler is popular. I think people start to understand that honey can come in all these different colors and textures and tastes naturally.
And I also think it looks great as a gift box. So we sell it a lot during wedding season, festive season. So yeah, and we have another variant which is we call it Tenacious Bee Care Package.
Mm-hmm. And
And
what
in this,
does that?
this
Okay.
is get pampered by the bees.
Of course.
So We have two honey varietals in it,
Okay,
four aromatherapy candles. These are
nice.
lemongrass aromatherapy candles, and we have two of these salves. These are beeswax skincare salves. So the multi-purpose can be used anywhere on the body to moisturize and heal. So we have two of these variants here, and these again the ingredients come from the hive. We
Mhm.
have Himalayan mint, which is the local mint that grows in our area, uh, with beeswax, and then we have lavender mint, which is something we harvest from Kashmir.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. That was really amazing and a lot of information packed there. So, guys, I think one of the things that I really took back, and this has happened in one of our previous episodes as well, when we were talking to Tawfiq Bhai, and that episode was really on, again, on that was specifically on honey. But I think one thing that people still need to understand is that honey is not how commercialized honey is, which is one color, one thing, one bottle looks the same, it's all consistent, but that's not how honey actually is. Honey comes in different colors, as you saw. All those who are watching on YouTube will be clearly able to see this, and it comes in different textures. If you get a chance to try honey, you'll understand that different types of honey comes from different sources, different types of trees, flowers, and nectars, and so the texture, the feel is very, very different. And I can say this out of personal experience as well, because I do consume organic honey or natural honey, so which is amazing. So thank you so much for apprising our audience about this. So let's quickly move to something that's been on my mind as well, and I'm sure it would be useful for our audience as well. So if in our past conversations, it has come up that there is some interesting stuff in the pipeline that TBC is planning. So if you can also share about that, that'll be really exciting for our listeners and viewers.
Do you understand?
No, please.
So, like I said, honey is only one of many things that bees make, and the mission of Tenacious Bee is to make social and environmental responsibility a profitable venture. And
Yeah.
our work revolves around creating all kinds of avenues for rural communities to earn a supplementary income when they bring advantages to bees, or when they work for or with the bees. So our beekeepers, we incentivize our beekeepers to harvest honey ethically, and for that we give them better returns. And in the pipelines now, as I said, we're very excited to expand our skincare line. Right now, we just have a skincare salve, which is like a dry skin salve. So we're trying to expand that range, working with a lot of different people to learn about incorporating, the flora and herbs that grow wild or are cultivated within the Western Himalaya, to incorporate those into a new skincare line. We're
Yeah.
also trying to develop some ecotourism opportunities in our village. And
Nice.
of course, my personal passion project is to work with artists to create, interesting interventions that kind of highlight the importance of the ecology and the environment, but through storytelling, through art practices, through creative expression, all of these things. So we have all of these things lined up this year.
Yeah.
Kunal will tell you more.
We started getting a lot of queries during lockdown, uh, for people to set up bees in their own properties, in their own private properties, and they wanted to harvest their own honey. Some people just wanted to do it as a hobby. So earlier we were also learning, and we were skeptical if we will be able to do it. So now we have also started providing those services, where we go into your farm, your hotel, your house. We'll help you set up bees there, and we'll help you maintain those bees throughout the year.
Amazing.
That's something
Amazing.
exciting, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a
So
full spectrum product and service company.
amazing. So really like the entire, so now the name obviously makes sense, right? Like Tenacious Bee Collective, where you're like collecting all the goodness of the bees and kind of, presenting it to everybody for good of humanity as well as for the good of the ecology. So which is amazing. Lots of inspirational stuff out there. My best wishes to the
Thank
team
you.
going
Thank you.
forward. Amazing, awesome. So that was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to now move to the concluding part of the episode where I'd like you to share any one advice to our audience, especially those who might be interested in this space.
So I would say one thing that I am also learning while we are in the field working with
Yeah,
farmers and beekeepers is that this climate change, the thing that we talk about climate change, is not something that somebody else will come and take care of it.
yeah,
Climate change, when we speak, we are hearing this word a lot now in dinner discussions, during water cooler discussions, but it's still a big word. It's just something that is happening somewhere in the world and we can talk about it, but we don't know what to do about it. Planting a single plant in your balcony will help. It do whatever you can. If you cannot plant something, if there's some plant, just go water them. Do the smallest bit that you can, and collectively I believe that we are beyond the we are beyond the limit of reversing climate change, but we can still adapt to it. So yeah, that's, I think.
I think what I would like to add to that is, when working in the mountains, it becomes very obvious very quickly that climate change is not this abstract notion that's happening somewhere else. It's
yeah,
happening all around us. It's happening right now. It's happening while we are speaking. And I think what's important is that anybody who is interested in this space or any kind of business space in this day and age, in this time of our lives, it's important that we stop our extractive practices of business. I think it's important that businesses start to understand that, if we chase profits and only profits, then we are not helping ourselves in the long run. We're just destroying the planet, and we're destroying not the planet not only for ourselves, because it will get exacerbated within our lifetimes. Instead of thinking that, oh, this is the next generation's headache to deal with, it's no longer that's no longer the reality. So I think if businesses are able to understand this and reject this extractionist kind of attitude where the end goal is money, and understand that money is the means to an end and not the end in itself, we can really start to shift gears. And it's important to understand that money can help us solve these problems, and it won't help us solve these problems if our end goal is just making more and more money. It's just old thinking. It needs to retire now. That's
absolutely.
the advice I have for them.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was really, really insightful and something that I always also tell a lot of general business owners, because sometimes, you're working with sustainable businesses like yours, but then you're also working with general business owners who want to become sustainable, but then they are not sure about the business case. They're not sure whether the P&L will match, and so on and so forth. And my only thing is like, my only retaliation or my explanation to that is, let's look at the numbers 50 years from now, when you'll have a daughter, when you'll have a granddaughter or grandson, and they have to live in polluted air. Think about that. So, or they have to live through a hurricane every day. Think about that. So I think that makes a good case for all the people who are thinking about means of, or let's say, it as an end, or money as a kind of an end goal. So that was very insightful. And of course, about the plants, yes, I always tell people, like, don't even get a plant pot, don't even grow a plant. The water that you're using, जब आप दाल बनाते हो, कोई दाल कुछ बना दी, ठीक है, वो पानी जो आप यूज करते हो ना, you usually put it in the drain. I mean, that's what I've seen people around in
Yeah,
my family do when I was a child. Just reuse that water, go downstairs and plant the trees, as you
yeah,
rightly
Yeah.
mentioned, right?
yeah,
So give it to the plants, give it to the trees in your vicinity or whatever. But it's a very simple thing. Instead of putting it down the drain, you just put it into another bowl and use that bowl to kind of,
yeah,
So
Yeah.
these are very
Yeah.
small things, and absolutely very, very rightly put. So those are some really pearls of wisdom. Thank you for sharing those. And that actually brings me to the end of the episode. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of Sustainability Simplified. It was a pleasure to have both of you on the show.
Thank you
thank
for
you, thank you.
inviting us. It was a really good time. Good
Yeah.
talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening and or watching. If you like this podcast, feel free to share it in your network. My one takeaway there were two actually. We had two guests, so I'm allowed to give two takeaways today. So one takeaway, first takeaway was every small action counts. The second big takeaway, of course, and I spoke about it at length, is that sustainability and business actually go hand in hand. And money is a means to giving a better life to ourselves and the future, and not an end, really. I would love to hear your key takeaways from today. Do share it with me on my socials. You will find me on at Zitin Munshi. That's at ZITIN MUNSHI. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.